people that ask me, why are you losing so much weight?
80% of the people I see have some stress-related complaint, and I'd say a large proportion of those are related to some relationship problems, be it marital discord or actually divorce.
He lost weight, he got thin, and he looked down all the time. I spent the first several weeks in the fetal position on the floor of my bathroom, crying.
It's loneliness, unhappiness, anxiety, fear, all wrapped into one.
I felt as God had done me some injustice, I guess, for a point. And I was angry with him.
I just remember the time he left, he took all of his clothes, and I just remember I was standing at the front window and just waving goodbye, and I just had tears streaming down my face, and I was so upset.
I remember going up into my sister's room, and my sister and my mother and I being right there and looking out the window and watching my dad drive off and all of his things in the back of his car.
It was hard trying to, be an 11-year-old little kid and trying to cushion, your parent.
I would be a completely different person if my parents had not divorced.
We had a lot of pain. It was real. I hurt a lot when I was young. I cried myself to sleep a lot at night.
A lot of times I thought, what could I have done to make my parents, stay together?
We often hear parents say, it's better for the kids if we go ahead and get a divorce, that living together is harder on the kids than if we split apart. Is that true?
Very little truth to that statement. I can understand when you have a very abusive father, an extremely emotionally ill mother, that under very extreme circumstances, the divorce, the separation and the divorce may be justified in order to protect children. That to get children out of a really abusive situation, the divorce was perhaps the only way that one can deal with that. But the majority of divorces are not in that category. To use that as an excuse to get a divorce isn't reality. That in fact, divorce is always damaging.
Oh, how I hated him. When I first really got that he was the one responsible.
I began to really resent my father to the point that I couldn't wait for him to die. I wanted him to die and disappear and be out of my life.
Then I wanted to hurt him as badly as he hurt me.
It was hard to just not want to go out and seek revenge and seek retribution for what she did to my life and what she's done to my children.
And I thought, oh yeah, I can't forgive him. I definitely can't forgive her, and I'm not interested in forgiving them.
I see them have many consequences that include, and even up to the drastic ones, physically, mentally, emotionally, and certainly spiritually, that there are significant consequences.
If you don't forgive, it eats away at you. It's not what you eat that destroys you, it's what's eating you.
Another relationship is like Novocaine for the heart. It is the easiest, quickest, slickest way to do away with the pain. But it's sort of like having a broken foot, and you can take a shot of Novocaine in your foot after you break it, and you can still walk, and you can keep right on walking. And you can look around and say, I'm fine, really, I'm fine. I'm not hurting through this at all. And one day you look down, you see these white bones sticking through the skin of your foot, and you realize that you've done a lot more damage to yourself with the Novocaine than if you put a cast around it, protected it, put some structure to it. And so when you're trying to recover, one of the things that you really need is some kind of a structured program, like a cast on a broken foot. You need a cast around your heart. And the worst thing you can do is to get into another relationship right after this process.
But people who get divorced are tempted to do that. They become a social butterfly. They move around in all kinds of different circles to try and hide their hurt. You can't hide your hurt in sharing your hurt around with other people. You need to deal with your hurt.
Whatever you do, you've got to look into the future, 5 years, and ask yourself, 5 years in the future, looking back to this, have I done all I can do? Have I given it every effort? Can I stand before God with three things: a pure heart, a clear conscience, and clean hands? You've given this thing the opportunity.
When you have had your soul torn, it affects your
your entire life. And it causes you to have a depressed spirit. And the Bible says that a broken spirit, who can bear it? Which means that once your spirit has been torn by a broken heart, no man can bear that, literally. He needs to have external input. And the only one that can repair a spirit is God. And so these traumas, or 3 of them, are very, very graphic. They are very, very real. And they are almost hellish in the sense that no one can save you from them except God.
Without a doubt, the best thing was that when I hit the bottom and when I got to the point where there was no other place to go, I found Jesus Christ, and that without His support, I couldn't have made it through.
You know, you hear people say time heals all wounds. He said wrong. Time covers all wounds. Only Christ can heal all wounds.